Hey guys, Jake here from Frosty Astronaut, and today I want to share with you this template I've been using recently. And what you do is you take a Zoom recording, drop it into this template, and it cuts it up and actually makes this cool video presentation thing. So let me show you how it works. I do have a link to this template in the description below. So what you're going to need is to go into this template here called Interview Template. In this folder, there are a few different things. So first there's this Premiere project, which I just had open. So we'll work in that here in a second. It has a few MOGRTs in it as well. So those are motion graphic templates for Premiere. We'll dig into that in just a bit. And there's also some fonts because those motion graphic templates do require some special fonts. So I threw those in there as well. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to start in this Premiere project. So we'll go ahead and we'll open that. I already have it open down here. And when you open it, you're going to notice it opens just like this. It is going to have one sequence already open. And that sequence is going to be called Insert Video. So if you look over here in the project panel, that is one of the two sequences I have over here ready to go. But the Insert Video is the first one we want to work with. That's what we're going to drop our Zoom recording into. So I actually have a few Zoom recording test files here. You can record your own in Zoom. There are two things you need to do to make sure this template works with your recording though. One is when you use Zoom, you want to make sure the program is maximized all the way. It takes up your full desktop. And then in the upper right-hand corner of Zoom, you want to make sure you hit grid view. That's going to put it in kind of a side-by-side square configuration, and that's what this template is going to use. So I have a few examples from that. I have one where there was me and one other participant, two other, and three other. So I'm going to just use the two-person one first. So I'm going to go ahead and drag that into my project. And what I'm going to do is just drag that into the insert video sequence. And so there you go. You can see my recording. There's me on one side and there's just a still placeholder on the other. That is my original recording. So once we put that in insert video, we can go ahead and just hit this X and close out insert video. And then what we need to do is find the folder that corresponds with the project we're working on. So there's three folders here, U plus one guest, U plus two guest, and U plus three guest. So it's just how many people are in that Zoom video. So this one is just me and one other person. So if I open this folder, there's going to be two different sequences in here. It has a 16:9 version and a 1:1 version. That is just the aspect ratio. So 1:1 typically works better for Instagram, whereas 16:9 is going to be better for things like YouTube. So you can pick either one. I'm going to go ahead and pick the 16:9. And you can see over here, if I open it up, it's going to throw a background behind that footage. It's going to cut that footage into two different pieces and spread them out so there's a space here in the middle. So we already got something that looks kind of neat, a little professional, or at least a little more professional than just a basic Zoom recording. So that's a good start there, but we can add to it a little bit more. So we can bring in those motion graphic templates I talked about earlier because they're customized for this layout. So if you've never used a MOGRT before or a motion graphic template, I'll show you how real quick. We can go up to the top of the screen here where there's all these different layouts and we can go to graphics. When we click graphics, it's going to open up this sidebar here on the right-hand side. And what you need to do is go down to the bottom right-hand corner of that sidebar. There's a little plus sign right here. Go ahead and give that a click and we'll go to our template folder that you downloaded. And you can see here there's four MOGRTs for us to download. They're just like those folders. They just correspond to how many guests you have and what aspect ratio you're going for. So I'm going to do me plus one guest in 16:9 since that's the project I'm working with. I'm going to hit open. I already do have this template on my computer, so it's going to say it already exists. I'll just hit yes. And what you can do is scroll down to the bottom of this panel, to the very bottom. And let's find the one I want, U plus one guest. That's perfect. I'm going to drag it on top of my export. That's 16:9. So I'm just going to drag this on top right here. And you can see if we scrub through here, what's going to happen is, that looks like it's still loading actually. There we go. Okay, so what's going to happen is these bars are going to pop up. They're going to animate and wipe on, and then we're going to have some information here. So it's pretty cool. It does all that for us just by dragging and dropping that in there. And then we can adjust the information on the screen. So you can see at the bottom of each window, there's a name and a description, and at the top, there's a location. So what we can do, if we're under this graphics panel and we have this layer selected, this MOGRT layer, it's pink right here, we'll get this panel, we can edit these attributes. So you can see in this panel, there's a few different options. So there's a left location that says St. Louis. So I can change that to anything I want. So I'm gonna say Kansas City. And if your location is actually longer than this gray box provided, you can also use these sliders to make this gray box a little longer. So if you have a really long location, you can use this gray box to make that location box a little bit longer. You can do the same thing on the other side, as well as adjust the guest names. So you can adjust the names, you can adjust the descriptions as well, and it'll update in real time right here. So you can see the text I put in appears here. You can also change the color. So right now we have this kind of ugly maroon as a default. And let's say we wanted to add to match more of this blue background we have. So we can go under text color first. And let's go ahead and find kind of a deep blue that matches that. So we'll say okay. So all the text is now blue. That looks a lot better. And then we have this one right below it that's labeled wipe color. So if you see right here at the beginning, there's this quick wipe that wipes across the screen and animates it on. So we can also change that to kind of a deep blue here as well. So let's watch it again. And there's that blue wipe that goes across, and now there's blue text as well. You can also change the color of these boxes themselves. You go down here to box color. Maybe we would just want the boxes to be plain white there, and then they're plain white. So you can totally customize what these say, what colors they are, and they're just gonna animate on just like this and leave the information there for your video. So once we're done in graphics, we can go back up to the top to this editing tab. And then all we have to do is just trim this export file and this MOGRT down to the length of our video. So I'm gonna say my video looks like, how long is this video? About 10 seconds. So we'll say it ends right there. We'll just trim this clip. And this pink one's actually a half hour by default, and we'll trim this down as well. And now we have our 10-second video with a background, and our thing is gonna animate on. There's a couple other things you can do with this template. So let's say you don't like this blue background, you want something a little more interesting. There also is a sequence right under insert video, so that's what we started with. There's a sequence right below it called change background. So if you open that change background, there's going to be a blue background image. All you have to do is delete that, leave that space holder there, but you can delete the blue background, and you can just bring in any background you want. So I have a white background here I'm gonna bring in. And so, oops, I'm gonna go white background and go ahead and drag that in, stretch it out. It is a little bit smaller, so I might scale it up as well. But you can see now if we go into export 16:9, it automatically updates it. So it puts it there in the background behind our original video there. So easy as that. And then you can just go ahead and export this out. Like I said, there's also other options. If you wanted to do, say, instead of 16:9, you want it by a 1:1 export. It's actually only the U+1 guest has that option, but you can also hit that as well. And that's gonna bring up this. There's a separate motion graphics template that will fit this configuration as well. And like I said, you can do 2 guests or 3 guests. You just have to match the footage with the appropriate folder. And then when you're done and you are ready to go, let's go back to my 16:9. Let's say that looks good. You can go up to File, go Export as you would with anything, Export Media, and you can go ahead and export this file out. So you can click on the blue text here, give it a name, get your format and your presets right, and go ahead and export that video out. And that's all you need to use this template. So I hope you guys learned something. I hope you're able to use it, maybe bring in some Zoom footage of your own, and make a really quick and easy video with some nice, simple, realistic graphics there. So thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you next time.